And we are live 2 nights in a row. Everybody talk about a different galaxy and universe far, far away. There you go, that's for the thumbnail. What an eventful TV and film watching afternoon. I've been watching the Star Warses. Let me share the video watching afternoon before we get going, so that people know that we are chatting Star Wars. If you like Star Wars, this is a good one for you. Live talking Star Wars episode 7/8. Join me for a solo live review retrospective. Whew, a lot of Star Wars, a lot of things to absorb and reabsorb in the Star Warses. Good. Nice simple post. And stream health is medium. Why is it medium? Maybe I'll lower the bitrate a little bit because I'm pushing it a little bit too high. Those are higher than with Stuart normally, just because I got just me, so I'm using less bandwidth. Wow, there's raining outside. Yes! Star Wars! So yeah, I decided that before episode 9, I wanted to reabsorb myself in the universe. I was going to say briefly, but obviously it takes quite a while to do the Star Warses. And I thought, hey, I'm going to go back and I'm actually going to rewatch both the new movies, which I have not seen since the cinema. So 2015 and I guess 17 respectively. The reason I saw Force Awakens twice in the cinema. First time, underwhelmed, seeing a lot of flaws. Second time, I think I liked it less. Overall, Dad liked it more. Second time. Last Jedi, I had only seen once in the cinema, and I walked out from it really realizing that I didn't ever need to see it again. It was a sort of film that's like, yep, there we go, that's Last Jedi. And it's been really fun to listen to all the interesting comments about the movie after the fact. So this was my first time actually watching it through straight from like 5 until relatively recent, not that long ago. Watching it always through and getting the unique or special moment of actually having the I got to see for the first time the actual 1 second, and then now we're in the next movie. Well, I skipped the crawl, to kind of experience it, and that was a useful experience, because these films are odd. All three are odd because they were pitched as a trilogy, designed in some small way by J.J. Abrams, who had a rough idea of the entire 3-act structure, 3 films. Rian Johnson came in and completely disregarded all of that, so he did his own thing. But he had already written his film before seeing JJ's film, which meant that you can read a script, doesn't mean necessarily feel it or understand or get a complete vibe. And so a lot of his choices were made without seeing the final product and how the fans react to it, and also wanting to go in a different direction. And you can see a lot of most of the plot points are kind of dropped or altered drastically between the 2 films. And so it's really interesting to see a trilogy which was designed as a trilogy but implemented as single films, with a middle act that was completely separate, and then a third act, as in the third film, which will then try to retcon it into a trilogy. So it's a really interesting experience to watch the 2 back to back, and see the massive tonal differences and filmic differences. Really, really interesting. But now it's all fresh in my brain going into the next movie. Hi, Brian. Hi, Dan. Hi, Zathras. So it was good too. Hi Sam. Hi Donnie. Yes, hello. All the regulars. I guess this is obviously a good time of the day for all of our regulars. But as always, guys, super chatting is part of the reason why we're able to do these lives. So a little bit here and there is essential. So if we can get even $30 by end of this live, it'll be worth the time spent for sure for me, using my time to talk to you guys. And I really want to hear your thoughts. The regulars. I'm obviously in what I know about Star Wars, but hey, you guys might have some really cool ideas. And super chat them allows just to all win. So yeah, but I mean it's gonna be a live as long as there are people, and as long as there's views, and as long as there's super chat. So obviously if people aren't any viewers on super chats, it'll be probably 45 minutes. If it goes great like yesterday, it'll go longer. But David Bessig, $2, no cap today. No, he has family stuff all weekend, and because of how poor our how poor income has been this month, I decided to do these 2 bonus lives yesterday and today to try and drum up just a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh, wow, really, Donnie? Today marks the 2-year anniversary of Last Jedi, so I watched it not literally 2 days, but that's hilarious. That is hilarious. So let's start with the first one then. I've got the posters lined up. Doop and doop. Force Awakens. I mean, when we heard there was a new Star Wars trilogy with the original cast, I mean, you couldn't be more excited. The prequels are heavily flawed, but at least they're Star Wars in vibe, and there's some really tremendous moments, although they are a weird evolution of George Lucas's reliance on technology, where he went from pinnacle to innovator, and then innovator, but with a very hands-off style, and that was his downfall for the prequels, and a lack of story. People didn't refine him. Anyway, so this film, super interested. Look, got Han and Leia. Great. We know Mark Hamill's in it somewhat. Kylo Ren, interesting. I remember the crossguard saber, lots of controversy on that, but hey, that's okay. Another Death Star-ish. As we know, this film is basically just a recycling of other elements. It's as safe as you can possibly be when it comes to a film. Oh, I can make myself bigger because the posters are. Wow, I'm huge. Jeez. Do I hold up in resolution? Oh, where's the poster? Yeah, it's a big recycle of plots, and it shows. J.J. Abrams is not a good storyteller. He really, really isn't. He's a good visual, and the visuals really held up well in Force Awakens, but the story is not particularly good, and it's very weirdly paced. Force Awakens. I mean, what happens in The Last Jedi? But it's a weirdly paced film that it really should have. Like, the end is quite rushed, so much so that several elements just sort of happen, and after the actual start is very slow, too slow, where or should have made the thing longer. Hello Samuel and Fleetyardians. Yes, Raj, very, very true. Give me Grand Moff Tarkin any day. I'm sad I won't see more Harrison Ford's Han. Dan23 says, people thought the 3 movies were going to make sense when we put the tiles together. Well, that is my hope, is that by watching these, we can lead into to all adding more sense. That's my hope. That is my hope. Hey, Stephen W. Fathry. Already started off goodly. I hated the prequels so much, I walked away from Star Wars until 2015. I actually liked The Force Awakens. I love The Last Jedi. I know it's about The Rise of Skywalker, but hope I dig it. Stephen, interesting. Would you mind giving me some bullet points as to why you loved The Last Jedi? I will absolutely read out the alternate opinions here, because I'm here to talk to you guys as well as my own opinion, because we're a Trekyard / Fleetyardians community. And Marco B says, good evening, Commander. Hello. No Trek talk today, I see. No, well, I mean, I thought it was a good topic to discuss before the new Star Wars, before we do a big Star Wars review for episode 9, because that I'm excited to do with Stuart the day after. That'll be fun for sure. But yeah, so Force Awakens. So rewatching it, like I say, I watched it twice, rewatched it. It's okay. Now they've kind of blend together a bit. Oh yeah, So The Force Awakens is a stupid movie. It's a movie that the logical needs are very much a secondary or tertiary consideration. Poe Dameron wasn't meant to be in the set last bit, but they added him because everyone loved him on set, so they killed him, and then they brought him back with an explanation. A stupid thing. Star Killer and just countless things, and it's hard to sort of list them all. Phasma and what a waste. So many things that I'm wondering how they even got through the script stage. Who thought a Death Star again was a good idea? Who thought destroying it was a good idea? Why not keep the mystery of a third film? But there's some really great setup stuff in this one. This one, I was enjoying it for the first 45, 50 minutes. It's sad what they did with Poe, Finn and Rey, especially Finn, but their setups are great. I wish the Stormtrooper dude had more of not a turn, but more texture. It's like Battlefront 2, the game, where you're playing as an Imperial for about 3 missions, then it's Rebel the entire time. Would have been nice to see a bit, for example, if he'd helped. Obviously, everything's linked, so you can't not do certain things. It would have been nice to have seen him, go back to be a Stormtrooper and be a spy or some such, or be on the Star Destroyer for longer. And it's amazing how the relative strengths of certain ships kind of fluctuates hugely. Why can one TIE fighter take out all the guns of a big cruiser? Why aren't there fighters launched against it, and other ships can launch them in seconds? A whole lot of weird things. This show, this movie series really needs shields, and I know things are deflector shields, but boy, everything gets blown up in one hit. It's rather sad, honestly. Jarzia, $5 Canadian. Personally, I found the Clone Wars series made the prequels far better and made Anakin's fall to the dark side much more believable. Yeah, I absolutely would agree with that. Yeah, perfect. And Brian Kenderson, $7 towards Samuel's 30. Goal just 23 to go. Well, remember, Canadian is a different dollar. That converts down, and we lose 30%. So $30 really means 50 American, because otherwise we lose all of it. So that's the sad reality of that. Oh, look, Stuart's sort of here. Yay! Yes, Dan. Dan and Craig is there. Still saying hi, Jeff. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Stuart. If you want to jump on, you're welcome to. I'll bring you in. I'm not cutting you out. You're allowed. Stuart, you're welcome to Skype and audio. Stuart's doing the jokes. I mean, Stuart, do you want to jump in on audio Skype? I can pump your audio right in. You're welcome. You're welcome. John Harrison, Khan is here. I see this post. £5. Brilliant. Thank you. I see this poster with Finn holding the lightsaber, which feels very misleading. Also, Rogue One is on the telly, which I'm watching now. Brilliant. Yeah, well, I mean, I liked how much he used the lightsaber. I liked the idea that he could have been a Force sensitive user. That would have been nice. They don't necessarily play it up in this film, but they don't let Rey's lightsabers even. They play off as a reveal, which isn't a bad thing. And then the next one, they kind of do their own thing with that as well. But yeah, it over exaggerates his lightsabering abilities, and Leia in the poster over exaggerates her importance, and that's one of the big problems with these films. Han is great, although actually, obviously rewatching it, he's got a lot of screen time, but less lines that are character based than you'd think. Some, not as many as you'd hope. And Leia, I mean, wow. Should have used the original people, because that's the baseline to have a dense story, and misusing her and then using more in the second one, but then she died, and then you miss out on that. And to not have a 3 meeting was, beyond stupid. But as we know, they should have gone for expanded universe stuff where all 3 were, generals and cool things. Can't really join in. Sorry, guys. Oh, Stuart. What a pal. That's okay. Hey, you guys are supporting wonderfully. Thank you. Really helps. Here to support the channel, Matthew Fassini. Love the recent Star Wars content addition to the always amazing Star Trek content. Thank you. Ah, David, $5 sent us PayPal. I don't want to share on this, but it's too small. Type it all in. I know more about Star Wars than I do Star Trek. Really, David? Interesting. Okay, well, let's read out his PayPal howdy. PayPal. That is wrong tab. But why don't you guys, in the chat while I find this, just put in the chat if you enjoyed Force Awakens or Last Jedi more. So just say which one of the two you enjoyed more. Just simple. Please do. Dan23, you're so funny. That's the right PayPal, okay. Let's read what Mr. David has to say. Oh, $30. Oh, crazy man. That is very, very generous. But you didn't type anything. What? David, I thought you had something for me to read. Oh, well, David, can you send me a shorter, like, mini email or Facebook that's like a paragraph or so? I'll read it out, it's fine. Yeah, everyone's saying Force Awakens. Good. Yeah, I mean, just send me a little Facebook message if you want, Dave, and I'll read your rough thoughts. There we go. Brilliant, David. Okay, so yeah, anyway. So when you watch it, like I say, it's a very stupid movie. Most things happen in a Star Wars, in a fantasy way. Why are people at the right place at the right time? How do you find people instantly? And they do a couple of little explanations, but also not. You know, I'm absolutely fine with the Millennium Falcon being on Jakku. Sure, time has passed, but it being, you're going to sub-light out the system, and then Han being in the Jakku system to find it with a Star Destroyer right there, which it would know was there. And why would you hyperspace into a place with Imperials? You know, they don't hyperspace out. There's no travel time, so that was weird. And since the First Order can track a Millennium Falcon that isn't going to hyperspace, you'd send ships after it, and so things just end their consequences, even though there's nothing to bridge those gaps, and that's just a stupid set of storytelling mistakes. Han does say that the Falcon is marked, isn't a clean ship, sorry, and they can scan for it. How do you think we found you? But he wasn't looking for you, and how could you find it across the galaxy? And if you could, why wouldn't you find it every time to turn it on? And they didn't do anything different to turn it on to arouse suspicion, and if it was close in the system to detect it mildly, then they were already close to Jakku, and what chance of that? You know, there's some really dumb. Anthony Harvey, how much moss do you get through? One a day. It's my coffee. Thanks for asking. But yeah, so that's a problem with that, and that's a systematic. You know, that's an example of many little plot things. It's weird. It's like in the Last Jedi, they can both hyperspace anywhere instantly, pretty much, and also communicate anywhere instantly, and yet not be able to for some reason, and have too much power, but not too much power. It's a bit odd. Like in The Force Awakens, they say the Millennium Falcon's marked, so they don't want to go to the Rebellion base. But then, is there a limit on that? Because surely, if it's just random satellites, then okay. But they find the base anyway. I guess it wasn't Rey's mind. It was in Poe's mind. I guess. Did they ever explain how the First Order got to their base? Because they escaped, and then they got there. I guess because the Falcon was tracked and it was there, and they were stupid enough to go there at the end of the movie. And one of the big plot problems being that Rey can do literally everything. She has no flaws in either movie. It's just an expanding series of skills that come out of nowhere. Although I like the idea that she opens up the mental doorway with Kylo Ren trying to get into her mind. That's a really interesting idea that he unlocks in her, which I'm sure in episode 9 we're going to get the reason why who her real parents are. Is she a clone? Is she a convergence of the Force? Is she a special being that answers why she can literally do everything, every situation, and that will help retcon. She's this Force child that innately has abilities. That'll be important, I think. And Kylo was able to unlock that unwillingly, unknowingly within her brain, and that'd be fun. But when you remove any sort of, because both these movies, they feel very easy. The heroes have an easy time. Starkiller Base is destroyed extremely easily. The Dreadnought destroyed rather easily despite the losses, but that's the stupid plan of it. Last Jedi, nothing happened in the film, and then it kind of easily ends at the end. Easily in terms of the actions they take rather than repercussions they have. Stephen, I like The Last Jedi didn't reveal Rey was related to someone we know. I like her being a nobody. I like Snoke getting betrayed by Kylo because Kylo is a more interesting villain than Kmart Emperor. Both interesting in theory. Snoke being betrayed was interesting, but it devalues the point of Snoke. And Kylo is still pretty poor in terms of a villain. So it doesn't, he's not interesting. I just watched, all 5 hours of him. He's a very uninteresting villain. He's kind of like Darth Maul with a bit more. The best he was in the Force discussions with Rey, and that's him just being a person, No midichlorians in this. Renee. Eugene, 2000 is very generous. We appreciate it. When I was walking to the Force Awakens premiere, I was thinking that would be worse. That the worst thing that could happen, remakequel, rehashing EU, killing of the old characters for shock, Vulcan destruction from JJ09. All of those did happen. I didn't give a flying F about The Last Jedi after that. Yeah, it is very JJ09-esque how he approached it, which is weird because he's meant to have this massive respect, and yet he kind of, it's weird how the need for the current gen is to treat the old gen in a sort of a we're going to kill them, disrespect them way. I mean, these are the heroes we all grew up on. It's weird to see them, the need for them to be mistreated, whereas logically, surely you should have, if it started off with a new threat, I'm good at pitching stories, but if you'd imagined, I always use Yuuzhan Vong as a good example, but you imagine the first scene is this alien creature coming out of the edge of the galaxy, of a dark place, and it appears in, and then this colony is attacked, but not as attacked, but converted to be organic creature life forms. And then we cut to the Coruscant, beautiful, and we see Leia in front of the Senate, and she's giving a wonderful speech. She comes home to Han, and Han's doing some general stuff with Akbar, which is cool. You see the kids, Jason, Jaina, whoever, running around, or they're now teenagers with Luke. You cut to Luke on the Jedi side. He senses something weird, something he then hyperspaces to the two of them, and then 15, 30, 45 minutes of the film, all three are in a room hashing it out. And then you introduce some new characters, and there you go. You've got an epic story where everyone gets to be awesome. Instead, you have a deadbeat dad, a failed politician leader, and a coward Jedi. I mean, you can't really disrespect them anymore. Really. But yeah, thank you, Gene. I appreciate it. David Bessig, $2. I sent my paragraph. Please read to the masses. Yes. He's actually Simon Pegg. Yep. I didn't mind the similar feel to The Force Awakens. No, it's just they just have lots of plot problems, which is fine. Yes, Stuart says like. Right, so Mr. Bessig. Let's see. Okay, this is not my words. This is from David Bessig. Sam, he yells at me as briefly as I can be. The sequel trilogy's main issue is that we are trying to tell a deep story with new characters in a massive universe, and they have absolutely no foundation. This is compounded by the fact 7 and 8 are more or less the same movie with no time to breathe. We know nothing about these people. They have had no growth between 7 and 8. That's certainly true. and there is not enough time left to correct this with one movie left. We have no real support to build off because of our last generation's heroes are literally dead, or the characters are, and for 30 years nothing happened in the universe. Then in about 1 week, the New Republic is destroyed, Starkiller Base is destroyed, Snoke is killed, and Rey goes from Sand Lady Jedi Master, and Luke and Han died. This all happens within 1 week's time in universe, with and also the rebellion, the Rebel Alliance thing gets destroyed as well, down to 1 ship of people, all their ships, all their fleet, and the bases. We have no reason to care about these people, and we have nothing to latch on to, sort of what the movie tries to force them to hang on to, and we have nowhere but storytelling options for the last movie. Yeah, I mean, a strong summation. Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. I mean, I said it came out of Force Awakens, like Last Jedi, thinking there's nothing left, and there's nothing. Which I'm excited, honestly, but now that I've had enough time past, that it can go anywhere now. Anyway, surprising, anyway, weird, anyway, interesting. They've got a blank canvas. They completely reset the universe, in essence, despite not changing. It's a weird parallel of both resetting the status quo that you've created, being Snoke and First Order and Republic, Rebellion and Rebels, and it kept it the same by having Kylo be the new guy. It's kind of a strange non-shake-up. Anyway, but Force Awakens still. Phasma, she's on the poster. I mean, talk about disrespect to a character. And Gwendoline Christie, who's excellent in Game of Thrones. I mean, did they know they were going to shit all over the character? Like I said, I just watched her entire run in Star Wars, and it's probably about 4 minutes of screen time. And just like The Mandalorian, you don't see a full face, an eye, but I mean, that's okay, so what? She has very little character. Her vitriol with Finn is boring, to say the least. What a waste. I mean, it should have been like, not Snoke's bodyguard, but it should have been Hux's bodyguard, or the lead stormtrooper out. Every time Kylo goes on a mission, you see her rush out, and she's the one in the troops, and she's the one battling. There you go, she's got a role. But they didn't know. She's just marketing ploy with nothing behind her, and honestly, huge disrespect to the actress and a pointless character. Edit her out, and it would change basically nothing. That said, the start's still fun, and Poe's still fun. One big difference in these two films, that this film has better imagery in terms of planety stuff, while the Last Jedi has some very nice stills. That's just, look, I made a pretty imagery, rather than look, I made a pretty scene and built some tone and stuff. Force Awakens is a lot better of that. That's just more JJ's strength. I forgot my point, but I still saw my point. Yeah, I'll play Battlefront 2 campaign for sure. Yes, if you like, please do. What else? But I always enjoyed Han in this movie. I thought he was rather fun. Although when rewatching this film, the intro's great setup. One of the best parts of the movie. The Rey intro is excellent. Really, really great idea. The escape is lazy and unbelievable. I don't buy one TIE fighter. Although that said, in The Last Jedi, one TIE fighter, one X-wing disables half the entire guns on Dreadnought. So I guess no one ever thinks to put any sort of anti-aircraft guns on the big ships. I know fighters, that's what they're there for, but if it takes time to get the fighters out there, weird. But the escape is okay, but lazy, and it's weird to see the relationship of Rey and Poe at the end. He's like, "Hey, buddy," and it's like, you've probably spent about 7 minutes together, max. It felt fun in the cinema, but rewatching it feels very unearned. At least that level of. But Zathra says, I think a lot of problem with The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi comes down to pacing and important plot details being portrayed via short dialogue lines or in books. Yes, if you need a book to explain your story, you failed the story. The book should add, not fix holes. And 95% 1% of people only watch the film, and that's your medium. So same with 09. 09 failed in many ways. One of them is story, but it was fixed in the books. Well, great. That's a shame. When we see Han, that entire sequence on his ship, that is a complete waste of time. That amazed me. Actually, that should have been anything else. I mean, that's the big problem. That's where the problems start. I don't buy for a second he went back to being a smuggler. I don't buy for a second that he's doing it with Han. I don't buy for a second anything that we see in that scene, except his personalization is okay. But I don't buy his existence. It doesn't really fit or make sense. And if he liked this fast smuggling ship, why would he go to a massive freighter? It feels a little bit weird. And if you take out that entire sequence, which adds nothing, that's a good few $1 million and a good few minutes you could have added to the end, pace out the end a lot better. So that was the first big thing. And definitely don't overrate a bit of Fly the Falcon from literally never having touched a flight control of a spaceship to flying an old rust bucket that hasn't flown in years. I mean, it is very dodgy and it comes off strange in the film. It comes off weird rewatching it. It's like this is odd. And they have a throwaway line of, how'd you do that? Oh, I don't know. Next beat. And that's how they often have to justify these things, by just sort of ignoring them and moving on. Yeah, Zathras only works if she's flown in before, but literally 2 lines say she has quickly. Yeah. Oh, and then he calls her a pilot, even though. Anyway, it would have been better if they'd gone straight to the Rebellion base, and then Luke had been there, or Leia had been there, or And it's weird to have, say, Luke was a myth, because all of their dads knew Luke Skywalker's name, and all of their older dads were there. I mean, all of their dads were there. Everyone from Han's generation knew Luke Skywalker's name. He fought the Rebellion for a long time. News got out. He also killed the Emperor, killed Darth Vader. I mean, that name is going to travel every single world conquered by the Empire. That name is going to be synonymous because he saved the entire... so it never felt right if it was 3 generations or 6 or 20. Like Sidious, you could argue Sidious. Okay, it's 2 generations ago, but very odd. Very odd. Then you wait, that's not then the whole Mars Kanata again. I thought that was a very odd, wasted moment. I get they said the Falcon is marked, but I mean, in the next film they have cloaking. They have cloaking things. I mean, it's like there are ways around this easily. And how can it? If you can scan and pick up the power signature of one ship, then any ship anywhere, why can't you find them at any given time? Unless there's a tracker on it specifically, if you can detect it, then you can detect it now or then. So that breaks down as well. 9 more likes. 9 more likes. Ah, Stuart, you look good at the office party. As does Sylvia. You scrub up well. Because you just posted those. Hope it was fun, Stuart. Hope it was fun. Yeah, Stuart. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the entire Mars Kanata bar is completely wasted as well. They should just have found a way to mask it, go straight to the base and progress the storyline. But that entire sequence, the First Order finds them anyway. I love how it says, "Oh, Mars, she's had this establishment for 1,000 years. Literally calls this establishment 1,000 years." And then they blow it up. She's not pissed at all. Completely worthless set of sequences. I guess it was just there to allow people to sell the toys of the aliens, but did anyone care? I doubt it. So that was definitely feels like a wasted sequence. I like Rey's stuff in it for the most part. Having the original Obi-Wan Kenobi said Rey was funny the way I managed to cut his dialogue into Rey, but didn't go anywhere or mean anything. That's one of those classic JJ mystery boxes that aren't actually content so much as a potential content, and since the content was dropped, doesn't help. Might pay off in 9, that's why I've got 9 to look forward to this week. So if you take all of Mars Kanata base, and she adds absolutely nothing to the franchise. She's just nothing. No. Raj, do you think Mars knows Yoda since Yoda was 900 years? Yes. I mean, she saw the entire Order of the Jedi blossom and such. Love that. That's a great idea. They could have gone drinking together or such. So yeah, skip the entire Mars bit. It's worthless, really. Kylo comes down. You get the traitor line with which is fine. The lightsaber battle, the fact they can fight a dude is fun. The fact that Han doesn't know how to work after 30 years, he hasn't worked Wookiee's bowcaster is ridiculous, and it comes off like the universe hasn't moved in 30 years. It comes across as again a wasted joke. It should have been some. You could do the same joke, but something. Yes, Bill, that was a. We know there was. Oh goodness. Okay. Yeah, so that was a skip that entire Mars bit. Then you get Rey on the Star Destroyer, and that's pretty interesting. The rescue of hers is weird. Her escaping is interesting, and like I say, her unlocking her force powers through Kylo is great as a concept. Her escaping without knowing what to do it's not played right. It's not played right. It's played like it's effortless, but it should be something else. I don't know how you'd play it, but you'd play it something else for sure. Then you have well, it's not a Death Star, but it's bigger than Death Star. You get to the base, you see Han and Leia, they get okay stuff, but I wish they had more stuff together for sure. But it's not too bad, considering. Then you have the plan which the meeting is a very short meeting to destroy a Starkiller base, and it seems so easy. And the janitor guy who actively doesn't tell them he's only a janitor, so that he's allowed to go on the mission, so they can find Rey, even then go out. Yeah, whatever. The idea of hyperspacing through shields is interesting, for sure, but that has other problems, because they could have done that lots of other times, but obviously when you get to The Last Jedi, I mean, obviously they should have hyperspace rammed the Death Stars. Would have been easy, effortless. Movies don't happen, but we'll get to that in a little bit. This is when, if you'd removed the Mars scene, which was a waste of money and time, and the freighter scene, waste of money and time, and had a lot more time on Starkiller base, had more of Hux. You realize how little Kylo's in the movie as well. He leaves a lot less of an impression than I remembered, which was weird. I wouldn't have been that pleased if I was Adam Driver, the lack of lines I have. I know Darth Vader hasn't got many lines either, but he's not that same character. He's meant to be more of a but and then Poe's suddenly alive, which doesn't, it feels so out of place, really out of place. And they and then one funny thing about doesn't the Starkiller base mission actually take more time to attack than Death Star did? In terms of running minutes, yes. The first one, yes. Second one, probably not if you include the amount of stuff with Luke inside and the destruction point, yes. But it cuts between a lot of different moments. There's a lot of like sub scenes. Yeah, Trekyards, I said that at the start. They were going to kill off Poe, then they didn't, so they brought him back, but with a really shitty explanation that doesn't work. It stands like a sore thumb. But he was so good at the start, it was weird why you'd kill him off. You could just not. And if you knew you were going to not kill him off, you should have added a little something scene or whatever. See it to the end. And the CG is great, holds up really well. The sun weapon, pulling the power for a star is great. But we know that the laser beam is a very much like JJ, I can see it from where I am. It makes no sense. One beam, if you can split into 6, then It really is the best weapon ever, and all of them in the same system, which seems weird. And you can see it from their planet, so I guess they're all in the same part of the galaxy. And the Star Destroyer is above. Oh, it's just so weird. It's like, again, these are moments that don't play well. When Kylo attacks Mars' planet, and then he leaves, and then Leia appears. It's like there's an Imperial Star Destroyer, well, First Order Star Destroyer, in orbit, and then Leia hyperspace in and goes down, and surely Kylo would be like, oh, Mother and Father. I mean, actually, he should have sent them both if he sent Han on the other one. I should have sent down. Should have sent a billion starfighters. It's like, why would he leave? Why would the Star Destroyer leave? I mean, it's seconds apart. It feels so disingenuous. We know that, yes, Kylo shuttles get a hyperspace, but the TIE fighters sure can't. So I guess the First Order decided not to shoot Leia. Sure. Why not? You know what I mean? There's so many logical problems with this film that it goes so quick to ignore them. Yeah. And it lasers and kills all the non-Coruscant planets. Oh dear. Now that I put together more in this viewing, that the reason the First Order becomes literally from they reduced their biggest best weapon down to nothing, and then suddenly take over the galaxy is not because the First Order. The First Order is not innately powerful. They have whatever ships they do, but they say if the New Republic gets blowed up, and therefore doesn't Leia show up on one of those shuttles that have cloaking Last Jedi, though, which wouldn't be shown to have it until Last Jedi. I mean, they don't say anything about cloaks. There's no reason to think it. You know, you can't cloak TIE fighters, so you know, there's still ships that weren't cloaked that were attacking stuff. Doesn't really help the point. Damn, I lost my point. What was I saying, guys, before that? Darn it. That's probably looking at the chat. You confused yourself. I don't know. Oh yeah, the destroying the fleet. The destroying the fleet. Because they destroyed all the planets, which looked incredible. The amount of destruction was like it vaporized the ships in orbit, which was very yeah. That's why the First Order was able to be a threat in the second film, because they destroyed the fleets in the first film. So it's not they're innately powerful, it's that the ships they do have can then go unopposed. I mean, if you bring any force in, I mean, you've got to assume Mon Calamari still have ships, but I think they're assuming that all of the good guy ships around those planets, rather than Mon Calamari and Corellia, unless there was Mon Calamari and Mon Calamar. Yeah, there you go. All those places. So that was one thing I put together that they did, which was better. And then Han goes to destroy the shield generator, which is useful because they're faded on the outside, so the one plan does not work. And then Kylo goes in there. Not really explained why. He just sort of is. I'm assuming for Han, but then he just sort of walks the middle of a big chasm, and then Han goes see him, and the moment's pretty good. It's pretty good. But they should have played more off it. Again, they wasted time with Mars Kanata and with the freighter that this sort of stuff could have really delved into more. And if you want to subvert expectations, having Kylo join the light side in this episode, I mean, how interesting would that have been? Turn the guy good for him to turn bad. Sam, can you critique the movie, post and tell us what you think of it as tied to the movie? Oh, It's a good movie poster. Yeah. I mean, it's a great movie poster. It says a lot. It shows everything in the film. No, it's good. And Bill, it's a crossguard lightsaber. It's not a tri lightsaber. So yeah, they kill him pretty quickly. Falls down. Gets shot by the Wookiee, by Chewbacca, which is why he can not win the next fight, even though it really doesn't come off that way. It comes off pretty poor. That he is so weak. Some of the Knights of Ren, that a lowly stormtrooper with no training can use a lightsaber better than Kylo Ren, slightly injured. At least have to hold your own, and Kylo wouldn't be playing, so it comes across really badly there as well. And as people have said, as Red Letter Media have said, if you see Kylo lose twice, seeing him lose a third time adds nothing. It's a shame. You know, it's a shame. And Bill, surprised the crossguard didn't take his hands off. They did some tests with the sizing and stuff, and actually it's a very safe weapon. It's actually very well designed for safety. I mean, obviously you can hurt yourself with any. It's like double blade lightsaber. You can hurt yourself by doing a wrong slicey slice. Yeah, so crossguard's fine. Actually, they know it worked pretty well. Anyway, yeah. So then the end is terribly rushed, and it feels so unsatisfying because they managed to blow up the Starkiller base incredibly easily. Poe just zooms through, blows up very easily. The TIE Fighters, they kill half the squadron, but there's a ton of them, so it doesn't matter. Snoke is intriguing, but doesn't do much. He just says leave, and it's like, okay, cool, thanks. You know, it's a very rushed ending, and you get this slice of fight which looks great, but is unbelievable, and it doesn't. It again doesn't connect well if Rey can win that easily. At least she should have been hurt it's strange. And then the ground collapses, which is a terrible conceit, and that explains why. And they all leave, and it's just, it just fails a bit. It's one of those films where it is a watch once with popcorn. Just don't think. It's one of those films you can't start thinking about it. You just want to enjoy the ride, but not look at the scenery too deeply. Which is you know, watching it again, I enjoyed it for the little character moments where I did enjoy Finn, Poe, Rey, and such, but the film itself is a failure. It has a story and lack of creativity and intrigue and use of the old characters, and it's a failure. Honestly, it's a safe copy on Star Wars, but it's just not well thought out, and that's a problem. While it's a more fun ride than episodes 1 and 2, I would definitely want to watch Revenge of the Sith over this in a heartbeat. I think the two characters are much more interesting in that. Except again, Rey and Finn are good. They're just not used well after the second half. But you get to the ending, and I remember thinking in the cinema, oh, it ends. There's more ending? What? There should have been a time stop. Should have got to the base, happy ending. Right, great. And the second one starts with the bang. But it ends on a cliffhanger, which is one of the biggest problems, because contextually, rewatching it, there's a weird disjointed feeling where it instantly goes from one thing to the next. So, yes, Rey changes clothes, and it feels as if maybe a day has passed. But then you get the Luke stuff, which then carries over to the next film. Problem is, hyperspace is such a nebulous thing. What did it say? That when they the Last Jedi, when they're zooming to Canto Bight, they say something like it's going to take 17 hours left of fuel for the fleet. It's going to take many hours to get places and places. And hyperspace takes as long as the plot needs you to take. You can get there and back. So how long does a raid take to hit that planet? Could be 5 minutes, could be 5 days, could be an hour. So the time jump there is so nebulous. Big mistake there not to give some moment of Chewie, how long will that journey take? 6 days? Okay. And then you have 6 days. Because in the context, it feels like about a day, maybe 2 has passed, maybe a week if you're pushing it. And so therefore, the First Order have had a massive they've lost their Starkiller base. They've, a lot of people, a lot of personnel. I mean, they should be thoroughly weakened and set in morale. And then you start the next film, and the tone is so radically different. Oh, I need to shrink myself there. This film is certainly controversial, as people say. 50% love The Last Jedi, 50% hate it, and I will say at about halfway mark, guys, if you want a super chat, let me know now via $1 to $2 to $3 to $4 $5 super chat if you love or hate Star Wars The Last Jedi. I want to know via the super chat. Vote if you love or hate this movie before I get going, to know what sort of crowd I have. So pass along something. So this film I went into being quite excited. The trailer didn't look great, but that's okay. But they'd everywhere to go from. And for me, they let me down in pretty much every way. Now, this time rewatching it, I didn't like it less. This film, I didn't not like less in my second viewing. I liked the stuff on the island okay. It's just Luke is bad. They should have tweaked it a bit. But every single thing in the space chase is bad. And that is a lot of the movie. And that's not great. Having come away from this film, nothing happens except 3 things. And it plays off so strangely. The entire thing is just a systematic destruction of everything that the franchise needs to make a sequel. And it left you feel like a hollow shell. It was quite strange. But I think people want to know scores. But yeah, guys, what is your score for Star Wars The Force Awakens out of 10? And if you want to give 2 scores, 1 for how much you enjoyed the film out of 10, and then 1 for how much you like it compared to the Star Wars films, because there are different things there. Please give scores now, and I can't revamp because there are only so many people in the chat. Yeah, give me your scores out of 10 for both things. Yes, Dan23, I remember the bombs, how bombs managed to fall down, and why the bay doors are open but no air's leaking. If there's a shield, you should have seen a shield effect, and they could be magnetic when you shouldn't have dropped that. The Force Awakens, I'll give 6 out of 10. 7 out of 10 film, 5 out of 10 Star Wars, did nothing new. 7 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Gets a 7. And this one gets an 8. Sorry, this one gets a 2, sorry. But Zathras again, $5. Thank you so much. They had a fantastic opportunity to give Carrie Fisher very impactful, but chose to throw that away and kill off a ton of beloved characters instead. Yes, it was a shame. A shame. And Jarzia! The Lost Jedi is 0.5 out of 10. Return of the Jedi is my favourite. Really? 4 out of 10 Force Awakens, 3 out of 10 for sci-fi Star Wars movies, 7 out of 10 is a film, 5 for Star Wars, 7 out of 10 for Star Wars, 7, 10, 3, 6 out of 10. Yes, there you go. So everyone likes less of a Star Wars movie, which I think is a fair thing. But Last Jedi. So yeah, this film, I did not like it in the cinema. I walked away thinking it was a shame in most respects. Rewatching it today, like I said, everything on the Cruiser was a waste of time. It was a bad plot, fundamentally flawed, and which is sad because Canterbury is also fundamentally flawed too. Jeff, did I? Oh, sorry, $2. Jeff Jacobs, 50. Thanks so much for all. Make Jeff pay again at 100. So he's saying at 100 likes, he will give even more. So please do. Please do. Last Jedi, it starts actiony, which is tonally weird compared to the last film. And okay, one thing I saw differently when watching them back to back, especially, was that the feeling of Luke Skywalker when watching it straight from the cinema felt very sad and oh my god, what I've done to Luke. Wow. But the first film, Force Awakens, it's a spiral of negativity, of people doing bad things, of characters doing bad things, of killing characters, of negative things. It's a very bleak look at the universe and things and bobs when you deep down go. So when I went to this film, I saw Skywalker's negative turn. It fit way more into the universe than I thought it was going to. I wish his context had been different. Why he'd done it. A sense that he was trying to find the solution on this planet rather than just hiding like a coward. That would have been better easily. It wasn't, so that was a shame. But whatever. But tonally it felt better. But the battliness, well, given this is less than a week at most, probably a day or two from the last film, having them hyperspace him, because they track the Falcon, obviously, and then they're escaping. Okay, fine, cool, great start. And then Hux is like, yes, we've got them, we'll kill them. It's like, you just lost like 1 billion personnel on Starkiller Base. Why aren't you feeling any of that loss? Why aren't you mentioning it? This is the same goddamn... For you might have had 2 sleeps. You should still be feeling it, and he completely ignores it. And then this one fighter attacks the Dreadnought, which is presented like a massive threat, which it is, but they just had Starkiller Base, and it's like, this is a pretty pitiful, peanut gun in comparison. And then he's like, one small fighter, what'll that do? And it's like, dude, a few fighters just destroyed your entire Starkiller Base. You just lost 1 billion personnel and the biggest weapon ever designed in the universe. And here you're like, oh no, I don't have a threat to this. And, oh no, they're attacking. How is there a scalable concern here compared to that? You should instantly say, launch every fighter. Fighters are really, really dangerous against our ships. Look at Death Star 1. Look at Death Star 2. Look at Death Star 3. The tonal shift is ludicrous. Rian Johnson didn't watch the last film, it feels like. Watch the back to back is daft. Now when you get to the island stuff, that feels more tonally right. Because of how, like I say, depressing and how bad, deadbeat father Luke was and such. It feels more connected there. I just wish had better with it. If he actually trained her and such, that would have made a lot more sense. Even if you'd done it in an interesting way. And they hyperspace away. And then the Dreadnought attack happens, and for some reason they're using these garbage slow bombers that one can destroy the entire ship, yet they're going to send lots. Even though X-Wings managed to sort of destroy Starkiller Base. And if you had Y-Wings, you could do the same attack. It just seemed odd that Poe's like, it's a fleet killer, we destroy it now. And it's like, you just destroyed the biggest weapon ever. You can save your fleet. You know, your very limited people left to attack it another day. You know, not picking a battle at your choice. It feels daft, especially when you need to escape and they can attack you, and all Star Destroyers could just have been shooting your rebel ship and destroy it. I mean, it was a stupid mission that was approved by Leia, sort of, in terms of why he was out there and the bombers were sent, so it wasn't an approved mission, even though you know they'd launched TIE fighters and you haven't fighters. I mean, isn't it? The Last Jedi is a complete remiss of any tactical thinking, and that's a big problem. Big problem. Martin, you're mentioning a bad script. What script? He said, I read that the script is not well respected in the writing circles in Hollywood. It is even used in screenplay classes as how not to write a script. Which film do you mean there? Joseph Petrick, I see. May the force be with you. The Last Jedi simply sucks. Thank you. Area 51. Remember, this is for Admiral Celine Dion. Yes, yes. Yes. Zathras again. I don't mind the darker Luke, but they took it too far. They should have just had him self-exile, similar to Yoda did. Our fans stopped Sidious. Yeah. Put on the milking thing. How could you? There's island aliens. The Porg weren't bad. The Porgs weren't bad at all. In order to build tension, the post made everyone incompetent in The Last Jedi. Yeah. Not a great way of doing it. So the battle is daft. It's silly. It's the TIE. I mean, the TIE fighters come in. They just obliterate the entire fleet of bombers. Wow, strategy, great plan. Oh, maybe we'll do it on purpose. Or do you want Zathrixis? Zathrixis? What makes me laugh about this time round was that, especially when I'm watching them back to back, is that Leia, after the whole Dreadnought battle, she says, Poe, you can't solve everything by jumping in a fighter's cockpit and blowing things up. And yet he escaped the First Order Dreadnought thingy, the first film, with flying a fighter and blowing stuff up. He destroyed Starkiller base and solved that problem by X-Fighter and blowing things up. He destroyed the Dreadnought by blowing things up. I mean, everything he's done has been a success. He's a tremendous officer. It's the bombers that were to blame with the bombing run. He did tremendously well, but it was a stupid plan. That was not his plan, clearly. And yes, the fuel thing was not established, and it's stupid. Yeah. So it is the film is very unaware. It feels the movie feels very self-unaware of its own weird things and confusing things. You know, it doesn't seem to understand its own logic sometimes. So the Dreadnought are to take out, even though they just took out Starkiller, which is a much bigger threat. And every Star Destroyer is a fleet killer, given they've only got 4 ships left. I mean, one of these Star Destroyers can take you out. Snoke's Destroyer can take you out. So this Dreadnought isn't any, in a relative scale, a much bigger threat. It's better just to leave, save your people, or a ridiculously stupid plan that makes no sense and adds nothing. And obviously, yes, the bombs dropping is dumb. The scene is dumb. The fact that they all get destroyed so quickly, then her one doesn't. Even though now you've got less targets, the TIE fighters can destroy more. Stupid again. But then the ship's hyperspace away. And Snoke comes with a hologram and says, Hux, you idiot! And then he reveals in separate conversation they got hyperspace tracking. It's like, you would think they'd mention it to the guy that is the leader of your entire group. And because the next thing is like, yes, you did good. And it's like, what? No. What? Stupid. What dumb things is that? Then they drop off hyperspace, and the fuel is now an issue for the first time in the history of everything. Even though they have enough fuel to get back, or to go there and back, because they had a plan to get back with fuel with a shuttle, which could definitely hold a few people, and they could have hyperspace to the other planet quicker. Oh, God, fuel. What a stupid idea. They could have had other things, and obviously the fact that the First Order don't hyperspace in front of the fleet at any point. Again, a laughable lack of self-awareness of the thing you're trying to do. And the ships being lighter in space where weight and momentum doesn't matter. It's like you would think the First Order would say, right, no, we can't catch them because their thrust is greater. Okay, let's spend time overdoing the engines, burn them out to get faster so we can outrun them, or hyperspace in front, or for some reason this also weirded me out. They send fighters, and they attack, and Kylo goes straight through the main ship's shields and destroys his force destroys the bridge, destroys the hangar through other shields, just goes through the hangar shields, okay. And it's like, if they can just massacre the ship, then Kylo, rather than avoiding, because he's got a force, he's got a better fighter, all he had to do to completely end the movie there was, rather than leaving, just do a turn, shoot the engines, destroy the engines while they're going fully, and they're stuck and you win. And since other fighters could keep up with it at full thrust, send more. There's so many logic points of failure. It's absolutely bizarre. Martin, the Last Jedi script is using classes as an example of bad script. That is great to hear. Thank you for DKK45. What is that? That's Danish kroner, £5, $7. Thank you. That is actually very nice. Very generous. Much appreciated. My good man. John Harrison, £2. Are you seeing the last movie? I might. I've got to. I mean, I'm a fan of all sci-fi, so I've got to. Christopher Rollins, did anyone like the idea of the supremacy? I mean, if that was Starkiller Base, that was the super weapon of ship, is a little bit different. That would have been fun. They built the biggest ship ever, mobile ship, and it can't destroy planets because that's too much, but it can, make planets unable to hold life. Much more. I mean, there's a billion more interesting things to do than they did. It's quite a real shock. That slow chase was terrible. Yes, it was. Snoke, throwaway character. Certainly was. Anyway, so yeah, then I'm trying to remember what actually happened in the film now, because so many things happen, but not enough happens. Oh yeah, the bridge gets destroyed, Leia goes out, shit's forced back. They should have introduced her as force powers in 7, obviously, because it feels very out of place in 8. Like, either have her in the entire film being useful or don't. To lose her for half the film felt like they couldn't afford her or something. Like, it adds nothing. I know she's not the best actress anymore, or wasn't. She was quite rusty, although better than I gave her credit for the first time round. But I was used to I knew what she was going to give this time, but sure. And to kill Akbar, I know the actor hated that. He absolutely resented them. Did it for the paycheck, and he didn't realize he was going to die until the end. So there you go. Another actor disrespected. So the bridge gets destroyed, and they give the fleet, which is only 4 ships, the last 4, to Holdo. Vice Admiral, I believe, Holdo. Now, Holdo, in rewatching it this time, for the second time, boy, she's in the wrong. I mean, you watch it, and she's presented as a villain in this. I mean, I thought it was presented more as Finn, Poe being a problem. But I mean, it's so one-dimensional in how terrible she's a leader and how in the wrong she is. She has no plan, she has no respect for anybody. She disrespects Poe for no reason, despite him being the one that destroyed Starkiller Base. and led the team bravely. What did she do in that battle? Nothing. Did she go and destroy the super weapon? No. Did she destroy the dreadnought? No. What did she do? Nothing. She was commander of one of the 4 ships that ran away. I mean, you know what I mean? She might have done stuff beforehand, but to disrespect him, what a bitch. You know what I mean? She's a terrible character. Probably one of the worst characters in all Star Wars is Holdo. She comes off so poorly in this film, and they try and redeem her at the end by saying she doesn't want the credit, but she's an awful tactician, awful leader. And if they wanted to get to this planet at the end, they should just have, used their cloak shuttles much earlier, or left the system, because if you can cloak, then that takes out all the problems. Just absolutely appalling character, and appallingly written. And Poe's mutiny was completely justified, and then she kills herself, and it's like, great. It's a waste of everyone's time, that character. Terrible. Zathrix. Hyperspace ramming shouldn't be possible given the Star Wars physics is supposed to work. Either you're already in hyperspace and bypass stuff like ships or not. Yeah, it's weird that when Han hyperspaced out of the bay in the last film, it only left a hole. Didn't even destroy the ship. It should have done more if it was that dangerous. And yes, the hyperspace ramming seriously breaks up the universe. Why battles with huge ships seem to just ram ships? Certainly. Yes, thank you, Paul B. Thanks for reminding me. This is credit to him, but I thought it too. When I first saw her, he thought she was a rebel spy. Imperial spy. God, I failed that in every way. Yes, thought Holdo was a spy until the end. Yeah, Holdo God, she feels like she's such a... I'm waiting to see them all die. I mean, she comes off literally like a spy. Like someone who is going to betray them, who is betraying them, who's just saying, trust the chain of command, I'll get you all back. Oh, look, we're out of fuel. Hello, Snoke. You know what I mean? It comes off awful. And yes, Holdo rather than the Akbar in the thing. Anakin should have been the ghost instead of Yoda. That would have been excellent. Excellent. If they made Rey a former student of Luke in 7, Pill wouldn't have had such an issue there. Certainly true. Again, there's so many. These films are a big they're a big sign of missed opportunity, missed potential. Which is a shame. Huh. Interesting. Jarzia, 5 Canadian. Interstellar transporters, death curing blood, red matter, hyperspace ramming, JJ and Run don't care about breaking universes they work in. Yeah. Well said. Yeah, they don't... It's amazing, they say they're fans and yet they don't seem to show they're fans. Strange. I personally like this premise as a one-off ship. Yeah, it's not bad. Problem is she's not really a character, she's an excuse to move Poe's character. Yes, certainly. I mean, she has no characterization at all. If I was the actress, honestly, I would turn down the role in a sense. I mean, there's nothing to do. Nothing interesting there. But Zathrix! Holdo failed to recognize the morale on her ship, fails to trust her officers, and then loses a ton of people under her command. Terrible captain. Yes. She basically breaks every rule of captaincy, both from a real world standpoint and a science fiction standpoint. Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's her reason the mutiny exists. It's her reason that everyone dies. She's terrible. Absolutely terrible. And if Leia was in command, you could have, I mean, just so many things. Missed opportunity. Anyway, so there's the chase, and then Finn tries to escape like a coward again, even though he was brave enough. Although we were rewatching it, because he was a coward only a few days ago, but tried to save Rey. The character growth is so recent that I can see him. I mean, he was a stormtrooper a week ago. He doesn't want to have to be captured by them, so I can actually see his running away, the same arc sort of working. He didn't learn the lesson enough. That was actually okay. And then you choose Rose Tico, who is a very bland character with a very one-dimensional motive, who sort of rape kisses him at the end, you know, in terms of unwanted, and that's kind of the definition of that. Unwanted advances, no chemistry with him at all, and tries to escape. She zaps him. They have this fun banter, think they can, with no knowledge of this big ship. And I don't buy for a second that this one stormtrooper guy who is never fought battle, therefore not elite, was lucky enough to be a janitor on Snoke's ship, Starkiller base, and a normal Star Destroyer with Kylo Ren. He is able to work on the three most important facilities in the galaxy of First Order. Really? And I was assuming they were trying to tie it into a universal design scheme, but it really comes across as dumb that he doesn't even know everything, but he sort of does as well. It's weird. But he says, oh, I know where it is, I can help disarm it and get us there if you can disarm it. And this Rose Tico lady, who has no apparent skill set, she's just a behind-the-scenes person, and so for us to believe that she can turn off a no idea how it works hyperspace jammer, how am I meant to believe that? If it was a scientist, if it was or we'll be developing one too, if there's this, and this, it comes across so lazy. And given this is a very long movie with a lot of stuff that goes on, and yet nothing, it's weird what they fit in. But they have a plan. The plan is to go, well, they talk to Mars in a weird scene. Who's got the camera on her? She's not mentioning a character anyway to put in, whatever. And they say, go to this place to get the code breaker. And you instantly think, oh, but they've run out of fuel. How can they leave? They'll be tracked. But they do have a small ship and they do leave, even though the ship can hold more people. So why wouldn't you... And X-Wings can hyperspace out. Not they have any, but they should have... Oh, I don't know. But if all these small ships have hyperspace, we never even learn if the freighters have hyperspace earlier either. Former stormtrooper from Janitorial knows where the true giant flux capacitor is. Yeah, that was very much a flux capacitor. And at 63 people watching, only 53 likes. So if you want to like, please do. We encourage. We always hope to get 100 likes in each video. It does genuinely help the channel. And yes, be clear, he should be a technical person, not a janitor. It was a funny joke for once off, but it betrays everything else. So anyway, the plan is to go find a code breaker to let them get into the ship, because Finn can get them onto a Star Destroyer that easily. The most impressive one in the entire fleet, with the most guards, the most ships, easy peasy. That's not the problem, it's just disabling it is the problem, even though you could just blow it up. But they say they can't just blow it up because other ships will be able to work it out. Within 6 minutes, they'll work out that they can't be tracked, that they can't track anymore. Then another ship will track them, which then implies that I guess you can only track the ship when you see it go to hyperspace. Okay. Sure, why not? Whatever. They don't explain how or why because I don't care. So the plan is to go to this planet with the fuel they've got. They just use, and it's fine. They don't take anyone else. They don't tell Holdo. They just do it. Don't take backup, which would be quite useful. They've got lots of rebels. They've got Poe. I mean, why is he not going? I don't know. Stormtrooper with no experience, and Rose, a woman with no technical experience on the field. These are not people you send on a mission. You send Poe and Finn together. Romance. And they get there really easily. They don't park in a parking space because they have to be caught. That's stupid. Poe likes to look at this place. So Finn likes to look at this place because it's just prequel bait. It's just aliens and stuff and a massive waste of money. And there's these alien dogs that they race, just like lots of things are raced. I mean, you know, pod racing, and they have other things. Not those are aliens, but I mean, it could have been whatever. And Rose has a stupid line, just like the sand line of the prequels about I want to put my fist through this beautiful town. And it's like, they're not all arms dealers, you know? They're not all bad people. Just every rich person in this casino is a bad person. It's really weird. But I mean, I'm guessing she's had a sheltered life. Well, I guess they explain her life of the First Order, and oh, she's just a weird character. She's a non-character too. And I did want to skip the entire subplot, honestly, of whatever it's called, the planet. It's just not worth anything. And I know that the actor who played Finn recently said that he did not like his own storyline in this movie, and he thought it was a shame, which makes sense. Kentobite, there you go. And yeah, Kentobite is everything I hate about the prequels. Yeah, it's weirdly prequel. It's weirdly prequel and a waste of everyone's money and time. Back on the ship, they're running out of fuel, and the ships get picked off one by one, even though you'd think that you'd transfer the fuel from small ships to big ships, because that would be useful to go longer, to delay more time. And why the hell? Why on earth did Leia not go with Rey to see Luke? Why would you send an unknown person with unknown force powers that you've only known one day to find your brother, when you could go yourself, see him, talk to him, get him? I mean, leaving your commander, sure, but you've got Holdo and Akbar, bloody Akbar, come on. So therefore they're just there on their own mini mission, but it feels so weirdly out of context and strange. And the chase continues, and there's ships, and Holdo again does not explain. She rubs up against Poe, even though he's a hero and he's done really, really brave things and just ridiculous. And then back to the Luke stuff was better this time around. I enjoyed more the Luke stuff. I think knowing that he was going to go good at the end helped, but he's still played to be a massive coward. And, you know, if you'd ask anybody back when the original Star Wars came out, not a single person would have said they wanted this. So why they thought it's a good idea, at least in the way it was done. You know, if he had gone there to attune to the Force, but it was going to take longer than he thought. Oh, and also he says, I came here to die, I didn't want to be found, I came to this remote place in the galaxy. Then why'd you do a map? Why leave a map? And the first guy in the first film said, said that if you need me, come get me, but it didn't need him, and they didn't help. Well, he didn't help. It's very strange. Very, very, very strange. Again, a real lack of logic with a lot of this stuff. David Cotton, how is everyone? Pretty good. Jazia, if Holdo is an admiral, why isn't she in uniform? Well, doesn't want to be. Doesn't want to be. Vice Admiral. Vice Admiral. Oh yeah, Leia probably could have persuaded Luke in seconds. Yeah. Discount Lando. Yeah, so then the Luke stuff, once you get past the initial stuff, once it gets into training mode, or he's talking to Rey, it's better, it's more interesting. And it's to see Hamill act is like, he gives it his all, even though he said explicitly he didn't believe in that storyline, he didn't believe in the script, he wanted to change things, he disagreed fundamentally. He gives it his all, and it really comes across. And I really am excited to see him play the true mentor in the next film, because, you know, you can argue that he knew that, you know, his weak and feeble dying body versus Force Ghost Luke. I mean, you know, much more useful as a Force Ghost than an average man. There you go. So that yeah, we'll definitely get some Luke training in the next one. That'd be fun to see. Hey, we're positive about to. But hopefully looking young and powerful and la la la. And actually, I'm forgetting what happens plot-wise, because it's just like stuff, but no stuff happens. It's quite. Let me get up my own video for it. I think right now. All these plans.
Lock down all the exits.
Wait.
watching on the monitor. So now then you get the stuff with the Rey and Kylo stuff, like that stuff, the talk conversations. This viewing, that was the highlight of almost the movie for me.
Yes, I am.
Really interesting, really contextual. It really changed the tone. It was weird to go though from the fight in the last one, the venom, and suddenly this very not gentle but tonally doesn't fit at all the first one. And she barely knows him. I mean, more than the other guy later on that says he's a vicious guy. But these were fun. These are a lot of potential. That Snoke was controlling them was certainly interesting.
Why?
Yeah,
I like Luke's discussions there. They're pretty good. The water bit's great. Yeah, all of Canto Bight is just wasted. Oh, and I hate that when Luke says to Rey, the Jedi must end. They've failed. They were there for thousands of years and they failed. It's like, no, Obi-Wan said they were guardians of peace and justice in the galaxy for thousands of years. They've succeeded mightily, Luke. I know you failed, even though you also saved everyone. But my God, how arrogant are you to say they didn't succeed? They were incredibly, incredibly successful. Absurd. I mean, complete lack of understanding. Crazy. No Lando to episode 9. Has Sam got a bit of German in him? Nope. Well, my mum kind of does have some German. What did Luke disappear in Last Jedi, but return for Skywalker? Because he's dead, David, but he's come back as Force Ghost Man. Lady Wanderer. Holdo isn't in uniform because you'd expect an admiral to be in uniform, therefore subverted. That's fun. Jarzia, Trekyards. Rose stole what could have been a meaningful death for Finn. The worst part is that she could have killed him in the crash, and realistically the walkers would just shoot them. Yes. Yes. Very, very stupid storytelling and a lack of understanding. Yes. Anyway. So that's a bit of Luke. They escape. Of the beasts, and then them saying, "Oh, at least we got them to escape. This is all worthwhile, even though you haven't hurt anybody, you haven't destroyed anything really of any worth. They're going to capture the creatures within a day. I mean, it's so meaningless, and they clearly ignore the human slaves. So it's best to save the animal slaves and the human slaves, or multi-alien humanoid slaves. It's so it's so unself-aware, this movie, of its stupidities. It's really, really bizarre. This might be one of the largest budget movies of all time. The amount of flaws is unbelievable. The mirror cave is okay, but it's meant to show meaning, but it fails miserably. Like, it means nothing. And you get the almost Kylo Ren and Rey loving, as it were. And this would have been a great turn for them to be connected and get together in some form. That would have been the best way for this movie to end. To truly subvert expectations in a fun way, to see there isn't this is the good and the bad, but failed that as well.
Dark side, that could shift
You get
the
the reveal
tide.
of Luke almost killing Kylo, which is respectively based, and it's not good,
It is.
but
Just now, when we touched hands,
for him to
I
not
saw
want to
his
save,
as solid as I'm seeing you. If
to
I
not
go
want to save.
Ben Solo will turn.
Rey, don't do this.
Oh, thanks, Donnie. Glad you appreciate it. Enjoy the rest. Thanks for saying hi. Yeah, he redeemed the most evil man in the universe, as it were. He wouldn't even try to redeem his own nephew. It's bizarre. Then you have Yoda portrayed as the old man in 6, rather than his true self in 1, 2, 3. Or I guess 5 and 6, because, that wasn't that long away, and he wasn't that insane. He was only putting that on to trick Luke, and then he goes all serious, and yet he's playing the trickster. it comes across okay. Although the ghostiness is, he's clearly just a puppet that's there. They're putting a little bit of fuzz on him, which doesn't quite look great. But Luke's gonna try and burn everything, doesn't work. The fact that Ray beats Luke in a hand-to-hand fight doesn't play well. Finn's mutiny. Ray lets herself be captured, which is interesting. That was a good like, ooh, okay. That she's so convinced by the tricking of Snoke, the naivety, certainly plays interesting. Although I wish again it meant more. It become more. The failed. I've already skipped the whole day, but yeah, there's a mutiny, which is totally justified, and then it fails because they get captured, and then so many little things, but yet nothing happens. Let's just say things I thought about. There shouldn't be any audio for the movie. There shouldn't be any audio at all. That's weird. It's funny watching the Snoke is interesting, especially in the last film where he says, yes, your training or complete your training." Yet he doesn't do anything to complete his training, doesn't help him at all, and then he gets stabbed, and then we learn nothing about him. We don't care. He's a pointless villain. My hope is that the whole time he was a puppet of Sidious. That's my big hope there. And I'll also talk about I might talk about my hopes episode 9 at the end, if you guys want to hear that. The lightsaber battle in the throne room is great in close-ups, terrible in its long shots, because the choreography is not very polished. The Shell's cloak, and then the hacker guy gives him away and gets blown up, and that makes the entire entire hacker side mission pointless and wasted time. And I can imagine the Finn actor being really disappointed with his content compared to the first movie, which was good. Really, really bad in this one. Really, really bad. Not for his lack of trying, but for the writer and the director and such. And then you get the moment that I was excited that might have been a good moment. The moment where Kylo Ren has just killed Snoke, killed all the Praetorian guards. Rey is there on the same side, and he says, "Join me." And I'm thinking, okay, if she says yes, and they become a medium place, then that's really interesting. How would you go from there? You know, if there's a genuine relationship there, if there's a connection there, if he says to her, if he instantly orders, don't attack the fleet, let them land, and Rey communicates with them, and it's not a trick, and he can use this army, to defeat another great bad, or Hux, can one Sith take on a star fleet of unlimited proportion? Who the hell knows? That would have been fun. But no, he goes dark side, to wit. Rian Johnson likes to subvert expectations, and yet he subverts them by doing exactly the expectations and makes Kylo Ren such a dull character. So dull. Predictably dull and just so uninteresting. And what a bad villain for the whole 3. She escapes somehow after they blow up the lightsaber, which is at least a fun little moment. And Hux almost kills him and wakes up, but then he becomes Supreme Leader himself. Oh, sorry. And then we have even more movie, because it keeps going on. We get the entire salt planet. But first, with almost every single rebellion ship being destroyed, and this whole movie is an execution of the rebellion, constantly killing everyone. It's amazing. I mean, at the end, they're down to a handful of people. It's absolutely crazy. Vader could block blaster bolts in episode 5. He could block, deflect. That's a very standard training. Most Jedi can do that pretty effectively. Shuri happens in episode 9. Rey already beat Ben, the big bad of the trilogy, died halfway through Last Jedi, and Resistance is effectively crushed at the end. No. I'm hoping for like a 2-year time gap, and you basically get to the point where they become the Empire, the Last Jedi, the First Order becomes the Empire, and Kylo's his big leader. He's hunting anybody, and then they're so stretched with their resources, and so they're weak because they've been overstretched because he's an arrogant young man. But that we'll get into that a little bit later. So anyway, then you get the hyperspace ram, which was great in the cinema, but when you think about it for more than 12 seconds, it totally breaks every other film, and just yeah, really. Because now the hyperspace ram is kind of like it's the Khan's blood of Star Trek. It's a thing that happens because you need it to happen, but you can ignore it as soon as you go past it. We're never going to see it again, despite it being a strategy that always going to happen. There's a novel that explains what happens to the rest of the rebels and how they get their numbers back up. Who's going to want to volunteer at that point? Anyway, guys, I'm coming to the end now of the review portion, and then I'm going to talk about the next film briefly. So put in some super chats if you'd like. We've already hit my goals. So thank you so much, everyone. You guys are brilliant. And thank you, David, for putting in the PayPal. Definitely worth doing, so much appreciated. And we hope you guys join in for our Friday. Yeah, our Friday review of the new one, because boy, that's gonna be a debate. I'm gonna be very and that review is a drunk review, so we're gonna have alcohol, so you can help us be even more vocal and intriguing, and help us be our last big live before the end of the year, before the we can't do any more. So that'll be fun. And we'll drink to the super chat's content. So you have the power, moha. Probably a little bit earlier in the day as well. So now, when I got to the salt, I really wanted the film to end at Kylo Ren and Rey saying, "Yes, I'll join you, but we need to be mutual grey." And they stop firing at the fleet, and then Leia's like, "We've lost her." What? She's gone to the dark side? No. Something new. You know, that would have been great, and then you start fresh. But then you got the Hoth battle right at the end, and it's like, what? But it's a very poor battle, because Kylo Ren's forces land exceptionally far from the base. They don't just super laser the planet when they can. They bring a Death Star laser, which can get through, which is fine, but I'm sure the cannons on the ship can do it too, so they're going to shoot the mountain, kill them. Done. Easy. I'm sure some TIE bombers can also destroy it. Well, maybe. I mean, the door's powerful, but just destroy the mountain. Just blow up the mountain on top of you. It's probably easy in the door. And they fly these speeders trying to... Again, it didn't play well this time around. The speeders come out to delay the walkers, to allow the Resistance to get a signal out to the rest of the galaxy. That is the plan. And they don't delay the walkers a single second, because they don't shoot any weapons. They just fly. All the pilots get killed except 3, and now the Resistance is down to nobody. And Ryan just is a masochist at killing people. It's really quite horrible when you think about it. And they just fly right at it, get blown off, and then they say, "Oh, we can't do anything about it. Let's leave." But you haven't slowed their move, and they charge regardless. There was no point at all to that sequence. Then the plan to kamikaze it, kind of like the hyperspace ram we just saw, is a good plan if it worked, because it would have put you in a bunker that is impenetrable, potentially fine. And then, for a character like this, that would be an interesting sacrifice to as in Finn, to go right into it, blow it up, succeed. Maybe we could have overloaded and destroyed the other walkers, cool. And then Rose, who already double backs, somehow manages to catch up with him and to the side, unknown, without being shot, and smacks their shuttle, their fighter thing before it hits. with a very violent crash and doesn't kill either of them. Her rationale being, we can't defeat the First Order with hate and violence and stuff, but only with love. And the shot is so amazingly tone deaf. She says that. The beam comes out and destroys the door, and she kisses him. Oh my god, what a brutally bad directorial decision, all of that. I mean, misunderstanding for anything in that scene. It's so inappropriate, it's so bad. Making that entire sequence completely pointless. And then he gets her back to the base from literally the right where the walkers are, running, doesn't have a speeder, runs the lady on a sled all the way back quicker than it can get there, and they don't shoot him at any point. What the hell is going on? The hell is going on? What's the point? Completely pointless. Ben is a solo. There is no Ben Skywalker, sadly. Why is it Friday when everyone has seen it so early? What do you mean? Well, it's Friday because it comes out Thursday. Yeah, Star Wars comes out on Thursday the 19th. So we're seeing on Friday the 20th. So we're seeing it the next day. And I'm seeing it 8. So we're seeing it... we're seeing it right there. As in like in the UK. I'll be lucky to see if I could. Why Zathras? Why see it? That's weird. To be realistic, I don't think Rise can save the trilogy, and Star Wars as a whole takes much damage from it. Eugene, 1 more 1,000 rubles. Really, really helpful. Thank you. The art in these movies is so safe and unimaginative. Duck Troopers planets are either non-Tatooines, not Hoths, not Yavins. New aliens have yak faces so hot right now. Just Google them for Star Wars sequel aliens. Yeah. Heavy duty. Now I do like the walkers. They're a cool design. I love they're just 80s but with big guns, big tank guns. I like it. How do you link someone's name? Yeah, but not everyone will see it by then, Samuel. Yes, Bill, I understand. But obviously people don't need to see our live on Friday. We certainly understand that most people wouldn't have, but we wanted it before. Well, we can. We haven't got that many days left of the year that are available, and weekends aren't doable. And we thought Friday was okay the day after, but it still gives people the first day. I actually hadn't considered that. Most people hadn't watched it yet. This is true. But we're hoping that the live will appeal to other people that aren't our normal regulars. They'll also post it. People will see, oh, they're doing a live review. They'll get random YouTube people that really want to see. So we're kind of hoping it'll get more people, random people as well. Dream out there, $5. Thank you. We're doing well. Yesterday's short treks were cinematic gold compared to Last Jedi. They are comparable in a lot of ways. Medallion. I admire your courage to rewatch Last Jedi. Once was way more than enough to last a lifetime. Yes, I've done it. I've done it to make sure that it's all back in my brain. Because I feel like that's very, very fair. Very, very fair. Commander, do you think we will see a new Super Weapon episode 9 just for the sake of getting a new Super Weapon? I for one hope we don't. No, I think we're going to see... the Super Weapon is the fleet. Because a fleet is very effective. I think that fleets are very depleted by the time that this film comes round. So suddenly finding a fleet of 20 ships is a big deal. And that really is enough. Going smaller and smarter is how they should really do in this franchise. And I think we'll maybe see it. We might just see it. Rose nearly kills Finn, gives a speech to Finn, then kisses Finn. Does everyone still like her after this? No, she's not a very good character. Real fans who have seen it. Well, I mean, most people can't see it first day. But suddenly there are like 11 showings in one of the 2 cinemas. So therefore, you know, a lot of people can. There is a super weapon scene in the trailer. I didn't see a super weapon, but please don't double spoil. I only remember so much. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, and then the film, then Luke appears, and I clocked straight away that he looked different. Force, what was it called? Force, I knew while I was watching it. Force projection is fine, it's interesting. His speech to Leia is actually nice. But the dice are so meaningless, really. Then it's so he doesn't understand his own film. He says at the start of the film, do you really think I'm just going to walk out with a laser sword and fight the First Order? And that's what he does. It's like you're trying to satire your own film while making it. It's weird. And he has the wrong lightsaber, and that's obviously a hint, and Kylo really should have caught on to that very quickly. But he didn't, because Luke is not really there. And the visuals are great here. The fact that he blaster bolts him with everything doesn't cause a crater, which got me this time. I thought, well, there should be a massive, massive, massive crater there, but they're more expensive to do, so they didn't. Whatever. Kylo comes down. I was hoping for a speech. I thought they talked more, but Vader says like, "I hate you," sort of. "I'm gonna kill you." Dodges, allows them to escape, and then it's weird that the guys inside the base say, "Well, there must be another exit." It's like, but they've always said there isn't. Like, you would think they would know because it's a secret base and there would be plans and they would tell you about it. But no, there's another way. I for some reason I thought they were going to blast the way out, even though there were ways out, because you could get to the turrets outside. There are doors to the front. Yes, it's the wrong way, but there are other doors, technically speaking. And Rey arrives. Good timing. Blows him some. She gets past the Star Destroyer, which doesn't launch more TIE fighters to take on the threat. She just fights the single one, does a good job. Easily. She's easy and good at shooting things. And they find the extra escape route thanks to the ice glass creature things. But then she lands the Falcon. Again, TIE fighters don't attack or destroy the Falcon, despite the First Order knowing exactly it's there, and it could have communicated with Hux saying, "Hux, there's a Millennium Falcon. Kill it!" You know, it's just like, why not? She's forced her levitation to under the rocks. They escape. Luke is revealed to be a Force illusion. That is a great little scene and moment. I don't buy for a second that the slice of a stab is what kills Luke. I think it's just he used all this, like, he just reconnected with the Force, he used everything he had to do the illusion, so he used all of his life force and that sort of thing. And they escape, and you get this weird happy ending, even though every single person in Resistance is dead. All of your pilots, all of your crew, all of your generals, all of your admirals, people have, you know, I think Nib Nub still survives, but Akbar, like some amazing people that you've had for tens of years, and they're happy at the end. It's like, you guys are really screwed. And no one came to your rescue. I mean, in terms of like dark way to end, you know, it's really strange. Really, really, really strange. Very strange. No, I like Force protection Luke. I think. Luke should have been there for real. That would have been better. But whatever. Drew out there $5 more. Wonderful. Here's an issue. Finn is goofy. Have you ever met a goofy child soldier from Uganda? He should be dead inside. Like, can't pronounce that. Sentasu from Gundam 00. Okay. That's a great, yeah. No, it's true. But obviously he's a janitor, so a dead inside janitor. Who was also sent on the most important mission of the First Order to get the map. Not sure why they would do that, but they did. Why not? No. As the film ends on a really positive note, which is bizarre, and it leaves you with the villain's dead. The villain's already been beaten twice, is now the main villain. They made Hux a laughing stock and a weak man, whereas Hux was pretty good in the. I mean, he was just Hitler Youth, but he was pretty good in the first one. He was terrible in the second one. He was really badly misused. Rey got no real development in this film, even though she sort of should have. Very strange. She feels more hollow in this one than the last one. You can sort of sense Daisy Ridley's lack of enjoyment of filming it compared to the first one. The first one, she's so many genuine she's loving it moments. You can really feel the fun in that film. This one, the spark is not there. The spark isn't there. It's more of a job. It's not really. And again, Poe, all the characters, all of the characters are made worse in the second film than they were in the first film. Every single one: Luke, Leia, Han, Ben, Poe, Finn, Rey. All of them made worse, and that's a hell of a thing. R2's good though, and the scene with R2 and Luke is what the film should have been. Some great reuniting and memorable moments. That would have been great. Oh, don't forget about Broom Kid at the end. Yes, well, let's just forget about the Broom Kid at the end. R.I.P. Hux, who become a comic relief. Why was a giant ever even deployed into combat? Well, because it's stupid. The Grim Panda, man, how did you make it through watching 8 again? See, I love that lots of you are saying this. That I wasn't the only one that found it, didn't want to watch it again. I didn't want to watch it again. I've avoided it for 2 years, but I watched it because I wanted to be back. I wanted to know everything going into the next one, so I could then appreciate what it did right. I think that's important. I think giving things credit is so important. If you give things credit, you can call out the negative things, and that is super, super important, because problems are going to come up. So that was my thoughts on episode 8. It's a bad film. Now, it's not as bad as I remembered in the context of some things. We watch it back to back, but it's a film where nothing really happens. So much of it is wasted time and space. It has no sense of scale, of intrigue. Every character is made worse because of it. It's a film that honestly you can in a sense you can skip. It's weird to say, but guys, give me your out of 10 for Last Jedi if you want, and I'll go briefly into some thoughts about episode 9, and I'll read out some of your thoughts for episode 9 if you have any, and then I'll close out this live. Thank you for the super chats; they've been incredibly helpful. Definitely got a few this time. Really makes a difference. And I mean, if we can get 20 more by the end, then we'll have had a good time. Yay. So that's a poster for this one. Yeah. Sorry, tired. It's late. Well, instant reviews. Minus 10 out of 10. Drew out there. 2 out of 10. Bill Barkley, 7 out of 10. Bill, wow, you liked it. Okay. Bill, can you give me like your top 5 things about Last Jedi? Why are you going at 7 out of 10? I'd love to read out your top 5 things. 3 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10 feel generous. 1 out of 10. I will do predictions in a minute. 3 out of 10, but hopeful for episode 9. I think they've clearly received the criticism that will make some changes. Yes. Although Team MRHS doesn't like any Star Wars, so therefore can't necessarily take his review as gospel there. But because that's pretty biased. Two out of 10, 5 out of 10, 5 out of 10. A few scores indeed. But my predictions for the next film. I think that they have an incredible position to be in for episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. With the last film, they split the fan base 50-50. They made a film that some people just hate. Absolutely hate. A film that destroyed almost everything except in the first film, that hurt a lot of it, that didn't do anything with potential, didn't evolve the characters, it just made Rey stronger, Kylo weaker, I guess, but also more mad. The universe more destroyed, more boring, but that said, they basically soft reset, soft reboot. And adding Palpatine is a tremendous idea, making him truly the villain of all 9 is a very smart move, because it my prediction is that Palpatine was either inhabiting Snoke, or he was controlling Snoke. That was just Snoke. That was Palpatine the entire time, because sorry, because then Palpatine, you've already beaten once. If you can invent this Snoke name, Supreme Leader Snoke, people fear you more because you're an unknown entity. You fear Jaws, you couldn't see it. So I think that's going to be the payoff there. I think Rey's parents will absolutely be re-retconned. Because actually, in watching that, when Kylo says, your parents are nothing, he doesn't say, I know. He just says it to get to her. I don't buy it for a second, they're nobody. But I think she's a clone, what have they got? A convergence in the Force like Anakin. She is a created being. She's something special, actively created by the Force, or a control of the Force by Snoke or Palpatine, probably Palpatine. My hope is that, just like in Expanded Universe, Palpatine is a Force energy being that could be inside his own clone bodies in the Inner Rim, and he's trying to make a new body to really sustain his Force energy. So he makes Rey, who is a vessel that can be enough of his strength, and that's why she's so powerful and instantly good at everything. And so the idea behind Palpatine is to take over a body and be the new, I've got a body that can take all of my evil essence. Yay. I think that we're going to get a really good group story between the 3 heroes that we just didn't get in the last one. That was a really bad problem. I think Rose Tico will be as well part of the rebellion side, but for a few minutes. She's a non-character. I think Leia is going to be a good reuse of footage. They're going to rotoscope out and change her clothing and hair, and she'll be in it as much as she can. Lando will be the character to kind of give us a little bit of fun. Hopefully he's not smuggler. Hopefully he's maybe like an ex-rebellion leader, governor that escaped the Khan, that wasn't on the main planets, that has a force of people to band within. He brings the people in. I really think we're going to see flashbacks, a lot of them, with a young Luke, a young Han, a young Leia. I think we're going to see, because it's the very last chance ever, so I think we're going to see a flashback VFX de-age of Luke, Leia and Han in a conversation, or of young Solo, Ben Solo with Luke and Han. We're going to see some sort of, it's not fan service as much as fan deservement. They said they can't do digital Leia, but they can do de-aged Leia. They can use existing clips maybe. There's things and bobs there that I think will absolutely be I think that'll absolutely be a thing. Get young Luke. We'll see Luke training Rey, which would be great. Explain why she's so powerful. Get some explanations. But it's JJ. He doesn't know how to do story, so I'm hoping he can write the story. But also, they need to. They will either break or save Star Wars with this movie, and that's every pressure in the world. And it could be 50-50. They could do either. It really is up to them if they do a properly fan made, as in for the fans, which is, you should make movies like this for the fans who've supported you for decades and generations even, because if you don't appeal to fans, then you're not going to make the money, and if you don't make the money, then the fans will leave because they're not getting what they want, because fans can want surprising things. Look at Star Trek 4. That's a weird thing, but it worked. Like Star Trek 2, you killed the fans, didn't want Spock to die, but it was done so beautifully and then brought back so beautifully. So And then Chewie will get more of a part. Hopefully, the old droids get more of a part because they're legacy characters you can bring in and get free legacy-ness. Kylo Ren, I think, will hopefully be past all of the petty, stupid childishness. I think we're going to see Force Ghost Anakin talk to him. That's my hope. I predicted it last movie too, but again, they didn't do anything I predicted because... But I think we're going to see lots of Force Ghosts to... Like, the universe is in such chaos that the Force Ghosts must intervene. And I love the idea of this fleet of Star Destroyers, the Lost Fleet. It was in the expanding universe for a different sort of cruiser. So it's an idea that's been around for a while. They're old, they're classic, they look good. They've all got guns on the bottom, they're retrofitted, they're Palpatine's secret fleet, la la la. And then we'll see some fun fights on the Death Star. Find the Death Star again. You know, there's a lot of interesting ideas here that I think fundamentally a team group fun movie which has good visuals, good scenes, good payoffs, good reveals, good Palpatine, a proper threat, not done stupid, a good end for them, flashback. You know, there's so many things you can do. And I'm excited. I think they've got everywhere they can go from here. And I do hope Kylo gets killed at the end. No redemption, death. You know, it's death sacrifice, as in he's never redeemed, but he's like, you know what? Yeah, you guys can leave. I'll whatever. So guys, if you want to put some of your predictions briefly, you've got I'll be in for another 2 or 3 minutes if you want to put your predictions. Any ideas realistic ideas you have, things which you think might or could happen, I'll absolutely read them out. And then I will end. But thank you guys, the super chats have been incredibly helpful. As I keep saying, this month is worse than last month, which was a lot worse month in a year and a half. Which is not great, but I did myself really helped. Obviously, really brought us up to a place where at least we won't get nothing this month, because otherwise we're on course to earn basically nothing. And hopefully look forward to January to kick some butt. February and all the card content we're going to do. Crazy. Area 51, $5. Thank you. Prediction. Han comes back as a Force Ghost and says, I guess this is how the Force works. I mean, that's why I said that he'll be in a flashback, because then Harrison Ford didn't come back as Han. He came back as young Han. And yes, dark grey. Bill, it's not going to be dark grey, it's going to be testing her in a Force cave. The final test Luke gives to Rey is to face her own darkness. That's my guess there. But yeah, put some thoughts and bobs. Oh dear. Rey's dad is revealed in episode 9, hopefully. Won't raise much money. Oh yeah, Space Horses. Jesus, yeah, that was awful. Kylo Ren will be possessed by Palpatine. That could be fun. I could see that. I could see Palpatine taking over Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren saying, no, I want to be my own evil self, and therefore killing them both, which is not going good. He doesn't want him to be the evilness. That's interesting. I like that. Does anyone know how Palpatine is? What species he was? Yeah, he's Nabooian, and he's only like 30 or 40 by the other films. He's pretty young. I guess he'd be in his sort of 80s now, wouldn't he? Oh, dear me. Oh. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Those are my ideas. And by Christopher. First of all, troops that can fly already in the books and novels and the games. Yep. Flying Troopers is nothing new. We've had that for a long time. It's really not a problem. Yeah. Zathrix, how long does it take to respond to emails or ships commission stuff? It's my job to do that because why not? And I always have a lot to do, but we did get it. I've got 2 I've got to respond to. I've just got to get to it, sort of thing. My aim is to respond to it this coming week. But once we get past the stage of commission to modelling, obviously speeds up because then it's out of my hands. I have so many things to do. It's tricky to blend everything. So as I said before, to try and get enough income last 2 months, I've had to take other work, and that's been more time consuming and such. But who wants to be the final super chat of this Star Wars extravaganza? I managed 2 hours somehow. I guess it was 2 movies and a third movie. Thank you very, very, very much for joining in on this last super chat of any amount. And there we go. And you can be the end all be all. But I had fun, guys. I enjoyed. We talk about them. I think my closing thoughts on the experience was that it's an interesting 5-hour experience. There's a big disconnect between the end of 7, the start of 8. But once you get to the island, they feel much more in tune. But they really should have built a trilogy, and it's a real shame they weren't. There should have been a time gap. Its character is certainly damaged heavily, but they've got a third one to hopefully fix it based on the fan feedback. Yes, it was. Thanks. We have 2, and yeah, we're excited to do Pills Designs. We really love that, and obviously the donation to do it helps the channel a lot as well. So yeah, we're excited, and I believe you had several ideas, which is exciting. Do not there, $5. You win the final, and 5 actually really generous. Thank you. They fly now. They fly now. They fly now. Yes, they do. And Thrubbies, can we have a teaser on your Mandalorian thoughts? Nope, because I haven't seen the episode yet. I tend to watch them before. The episode of the review, so I haven't seen it yet. I'll see it on tomorrow, Monday. Which I'm excited because they're fun, and there's a space station, and there's aliens, and there's a Twi'lek, lost Twi'leks. I see. So I'm excited for that. But thank you all so much for your continuing support of the channel. It makes a massive difference. Although, can I push us to get to 70 likes? We have 67 right now. If you have not clicked like, doesn't matter if you've got a account or not. Everyone can click like. I really want to see the 70 likes. Would be super. Please do. And it is free. That is free. Likes do actually help. Yeah. But no. You guys have been great. 73, there we go. And the Grand Panda, hey, welcome back. $2. What if Palpatine just possesses the body of a Nabooian? Sure, why not? And awesome stream, guys. Just gonna stick a bit more. In say, I hope episode 9 ends up being a fun watch. I do think it'll be a fun watch. I think they know this is the make or break. They know they did so much harm with the last one that they are going to do so many good things to the fans, pay off satisfying things, and with Game of Thrones doing the opposite to what fans wanted in so many ways. They have so much to lose here. I mean, they have $1 billion to lose. You know? That I think it's going to be better than the last one. And hopefully it'll be better than the first one. Hopefully. Epic conclusion to a non-trilogy, because definitely this is not a trilogy. This is a film with a second film and then a last film. But hey ho, there's a way. But thanks guys, appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow for the Mandalorian review. And then you might see Stuart during the week. I'm away Tuesday, Wednesday. And then you'll see a live on Friday about Star Wars Episode 9. And then Christmas. But you'll still see videos on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday the 21st and Saturday the 28th. And maybe Sundays too. You'll see. You'll see. Thank you guys. Have a great time. Yeah. Thanks for turning up. Appreciate it. Have a good one. Bye guys.